Before the video starts, I just want to give a massive shout out to Bippin over at Snagbug. Thank you so much for collaborating with me and also for giving me the idea to do an Atlas moth. So please check out his page for cool photos, videos, and fun facts about bugs. And while you're at it, follow me too, so you can see everything I've made so far and everything that's yet to come. So sorry about interrupting our time together. First things first, template for symmetry, then I roll out some clay. I feel like I haven't made a tinfoil base in a while, but that's okay. We don't need it for Lepidoptera anymore. And I won't have to use my work iPad anymore. I've invested in a glass mat for plausible deniability, so yippee! Now that the clay is cut into its shape and the edges are perfectly smooth, I repeat that 4 times. I would have put the eastern and western hemisphere of this moth together so that I would only have to cut out 2 pieces instead of 4 pieces that I then smoosh together into 2 pieces, but that wouldn't have been able to fit on the work iPad. Glass mat is coming soon, people, so don't yell at me. There is space for reassembling the pieces together on the work iPad though. Anywho, we must fortify the wings. For once, the wings don't give me any sort of trouble because I properly sorted them out by adding the wire. Once the wire is all sorted out, I use the template as a stencil to give the moth its lines, then I bake it. I hope none of you expect me to keep the wire exposed. That would have been super silly crazy of me and nobody would have liked that. As you can see, I smashed some clay onto the yucky side and use my finger to scrape the clay onto the edges so that the whole thing is seamless. That part looks like the wire is really protruding, but it's not, I promise. Last thing on my little to-do list is to add the lines again to the second half and bake them like a college student. Okay, so I thought I cooked here, but as you guys know, my food does burn sometimes. Spoiler alert, I'm going to add magnets to this bug, the reason for which you'll find out later. But I thought it would be neat to embed the magnet in the bug and cover them up, which I would need air dry clay to do. The air dry clay sucked for this though, so I used my regular old Sculpey Primo and made holes for the magnets. Then I got to work texturizing the moth's body. We can say this because I thought the difference in texture would be visually interesting, but the conspiracy theorists who are always on my ass will say I simply forgot to texturize the wings. Again. I poke the wings into the body, then send it to bake just like that, so that it doesn't fall apart on me. Then I slip the wings back on, and it fits like a glove. I'm not fully attaching the magnets here, I'm just showing off that they actually fit snug like a bug in a rug. I don't show it, but I actually fortify the underside of the wings where they connect to the body so that they aren't wibbly wobbly in any way, and I give the moth its fluffy thorax for the top side of the wings. And just like that, I'm sketching out the paint job. That was suspiciously easy. I'm not trying to flick my own bean or anything, but usually I'm fighting for my life one way or another when I'm making bug. When have I ever finished building the form in only 2 minutes and 44 seconds? Maybe going through the hell that was making Slitherwing advanced my XP about 10-fold. Anywho, let's not get carried away. I laid the groundwork by giving a few layers of this spicy orange color, then worked my way outwards, starting with this tricolor line that goes from one wing, across the thorax, and to the next wing. Here it's hard to tell what exactly I'm doing, but I'm wetting the lines of the wings before I go in with an orangey yellow color that defines the lines just a little bit. Those who are working overtime will notice that I only did the darker orange and the gray before. So now that those two are dry, I'll fill in the white so it's good and crispy. I'm jumping all over the place. I know, I'm not sorry about it. Since the white is already out and proud, I'll just do a hop and a skip over to all the parts that require a cute white outline, aka these diamond shapes. When the time comes, I'll also accentuate the diamonds with a tease of some gray. Did you know that the Atlas moth isn't the biggest moth in the world, but just one of the biggest moths in the world? Because it is a part of the biggest moth club, even though it isn't the biggest moth. It could be the biggest moth if we go off of surface area, but if we go off of the biggest based on who has the largest wingspan, that would go to the white witch moth, which, I have to make that moth one day because even by just the name, you could tell that that moth is swagged out. Back to what I was doing. I'm still working outwards and now I'm going to do here what I did over there, which is make a cute tricolor line by doing the outer red and gray before the inner white, but this time it's personal. Just kidding. This time it's curvy. You have to save the middle line for last because it just makes it look so lovely. Now comes the time for the snack. Does anybody get that reference? I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm pretty sure I didn't hear it in a dream, so please let me know in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. Anyways, mapping out the snake head was a teensy bit tricky. I had to really assess how the colors and the shapes were coming together and how it all connected, so I took it nice and slow here. I laid out the two pretty yellows, then defined the snack features, and it was all cool and copacetic from there. You may not notice it for real if you're looking at a real life Atlas moth, but these two brown colors along the edge are actually two different shades of brown that are just separated by this black line. So what I did for the one on the outer edge was I just used a regular tan, and then the inner one I used the tan mixed with a little bit of gold so that it would have that pop. The edge has a lot of sweet details I have to add in before I inevitably start laying dots everywhere. Details such as those shapes, question mark, that kind of look like seeds, I guess, and this sweet reddish dark orange outline. I also go ahead and finish up other little tasks about the bug, such as adding slight highlight to the thorax, this little squiggly brown, and this tan at the end of the abdomen. Alright, you guys knew it was coming. You know I can't help myself when it comes to pointillism. Please do not whip me in the backyard. Speaking of, happy Black History Month to my fellow Negroes out there. I hope all of your white friends sent you their customary $1,000. Wow, look at this beauty! The Atlas moth is basically done. Oh, what a dream. The last little bit is just defining those white lines around the abdomen and giving the moth its eyes. No mouth though. I know what you're thinking now. Oh my gosh, Sydney, are you building a toy? No, my freaky little viewer, I am making a stand for my bug, which is a first on this channel, and it was actually Bippin's idea. So everybody say, thank you, Bippin. I already bought the air dry clay, so I have to make it feel useful somehow. I squeezed it into this questionable shape, carved out some tree bark, plugged in some wires, and left it to dry for about 1,000,000 years. Then I added more air dry clay to the base and waited another 1,000,000 years for that to dry. Hey, now I gotta paint this bonus content I got you guys, you know, something light for Valentine's Day or whatever. I used that same tan / light brown just for the base, then I get a little crazy by swirling up some tan, some regular brown, and some gold. To do what I gotta do, I ripped off a piece of the huge sponge that my mom keeps in the washroom, which is a secret that you and I are going to keep between ourselves. And after that, I dab the swirl of colors on and throw in some more dark brown at the base. Ooh, another something new! I sprayed the trunk with sealant, then followed my heart and just put the moss on all over at random. I'm almost done, so I just want to say thank you for your ongoing support, and if you made it this far, please like and subscribe, and comment a name for this pretty girl. Okay, so, the moth is done, the tree trunk is done. The last thing left to do is attach the magnets, which is pretty easy. You just mix together 2-part epoxy sculpt, take a pop stick that nobody will notice is gone, and dab a tiny dot on. Once you attach the magnet, let it set for however long the instructions say. Oh, I also painted the under half of the moth while you guys weren't looking. I actually had to do this twice because I attached the magnets the wrong way so they repelled each other. Hence why the second time around I added a black dot so that I would know to make sure the black dot is not facing outwards. Whoopsie daisy. Then after that, it's same old for the tree trunk. Exact same process, don't even sweat it. And with that, we're officially done. Officially this time. So I want to say thank you again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me and Snackbug on Instagram. And this came out just so gorgeous. Maybe I'll make another stand in the future, but if you want to see that, you gotta stay tuned. See you! Bye!